Good afternoon, everyone. It is Danielle Fitzhugh with the Chesterfield Chamber, and we are out and about in the community. It is great to be out visiting our members, and today we are with Tamara Taylor, managing broker at Community Real Estate Group. We are so excited to be here with her, and it's a hot market for housing in Chesterfield. It's a hot market everywhere in Virginia, but especially here in Chesterfield. So we're going to talk to Tamara about what she's seeing, how the industry is going, and what makes her unique here at Community Real Estate Group. Tamara, thank you for letting us come out. The Chesterfield Chamber is always excited to be out in the community. But tell us a little bit about your firm here in Chesterfield.
Awesome. Well, first, thank you for being here, Danielle. We are so excited to have you. And I'm so blessed that you decided to come and grace our offices. Community Real Estate Group is a firm that is for the community. Our mission is to really advocate for housing reform. The firm is a new firm here in Chesterfield, and we are so excited to have you so you can come and just learn a little bit more about us. We focus on building affordable housing or partnering with those to create affordable housing within the communities. As you know, the market is kind of shifting and turning around, and with the market being as outrageous as it has been, with some of the rate increases, some of the properties going so high over asking, it's kind of pushed that first-time home buyer out. And so our goal is to really find a place to create that housing opportunity so that they can feel like it's a win for them as well, and they're not kind of being thrown to the wolves.
So that's an important space to play, Tamara. I mean, I can remember when I was a first-time home buyer, I was young. I had no idea what I was doing. And had it not been for a very special real estate agent who, quite frankly, my first house didn't make her rich. Working with me, we might not have been in that first home. So that's an important space to play. What makes it so unique? You know, there are lots of realtors, serving Chesterfield. What makes you all so unique when you're kind of working with clients and going, you know, I'm the right agent to help you find even your first home? And that's the biggest housing purchase they may ever make.
It is, and when I bought my first home, I was young as well, and I had someone that really took the time to walk me through how to get that purchase and to educate me, and that's that same service that I provide to each one of my clients. We're going to take some time to really walk through and understand what type of market we're in, understand your financing power, what finances you need. And the home ownership does not stop just because you're in. So let's prepare what things you may endure while you're a homeowner, because most people are changing their mindset from a renter to now a homeowner. So there's a difference there, because you're going from, I don't have maintenance to call on.
I got yard work.
Exactly. And I have a honey-do list that I got to work from. And what things do we need to put into place, and what does that look like? So you're going to get that hand-hold, and you're going to get that education. And we want to be able to teach you how to use your home to build some generational wealth for those that are your future people to come.
So I know, and I mean, it doesn't seem like it happened so long ago now, but I can remember way back when we didn't have the mix of housing inventory that we have now, so that you can purchase condos, you can purchase townhomes, or you can purchase a single family dwelling. How much has that changed the opportunity for a first-time homeowner to actually get into a house?
It has changed, because when you have that inventory, it does open up the market. So it does create that balance for those that are saying, you know what, I really don't want that single family. I don't want to deal with that yard work. So now let me explore maybe a condo or a townhouse, something I can still be comfortable, get the benefits of home ownership, but I don't have all of that exterior maintenance to worry about.
Look, that's what I'm looking for on the other side of my life, is that less than exterior maintenance. So I'm going from yard work back to no yard work. That's what I'm looking for.
Exactly. And you have some options to be able to create that. Now, with the market being as crazy, and of course the pricings have gone up due to labor costs, lumber, materials, and all of those things, but it does create an opportunity for those that want to explore. They have more resources to be able to do so now.
And we also, I know there are a lot of newer mixed use communities being built. not just in Chesterfield, but of
Mhm.
course we think Chesterfield's the best place to
Of
have a
course.
mixed-use community. But are you finding lots of activity in some of those mixed-use communities where you really are having some live, work, play, and do
Mhm.
business in?
Yes, you are. I have a lot of clients that like the Short Pump area. There are some that also love that Scott's Addition area too.
Okay.
So there are different areas that I have a mixture of clients that they want to be in. Even Church Hill,
Okay.
you know, where they're able to walk and be close to different things and some of the nightlife and different things that they want to do. Because right now I have a lot of people that are working from home.
Yes.
So you have that ability that I can kind of live wherever I want, and I don't have to necessarily be confined to the old way of I want to be 10 minutes from my job, because it doesn't really play a part as it used to a few years ago prior to the pandemic.
Yeah. I know Chesterfield just purchased Spring Rock Green at Chippenham at Midlothian, not too far
Yes.
from where we are. And that'll be a mixed-use development with some
Yes.
housing product in it as well. And then, of course, we have the county's favorite. We have the Westchester Commons, which community, which I know they are getting ready to break ground on some Stylecraft homes here in July.
Yes.
So there's definitely a need for more inventory.
That is definitely a need.
And I know, let's see, we had some real estate, the head of the Real Estate Association spoke to our chamber lunch. Gosh, it's almost been a year ago.
Wow.
And product in Chesterfield was really at a crisis point. I think a healthy environment was something like 3 to 6 months of inventory,
Yes.
and Chesterfield had 3 to 6 weeks of inventory.
That sounds about right.
In inventory, so you get those pricing wars you
Yes.
talked about. Now you're seeing some of that come down.
It is starting to flip over. Now, certain areas, it is starting to kind of level out a little bit. So where the homeowners were anticipating 10 and 20% over asking, starting to settle out a little bit now, which is going to be a little more advantageous for the buyers to be able to get into some of that affordable housing without having to feel like they're having to give away a rib or their firstborn
Yeah.
and to fight somebody down in order to get into a home these days.
I like to say it's righting the ship, right?
Yes.
So if you were fortunate to sell your house during these last couple years of a market surge, then we've got some correction going back
That
into
is what
the
is
market.
going to happen, auto correction right there. So it's going to even the playing field a little bit. So the sellers, they'll still be able to sell, but it's going to also
They might have to
help
do
that
some work
buyers.
to their house this time.
Exactly. That would be a big difference. You can't just throw in a little bit of paint and think it's going to just sell for 20 and 30% more. So going to have to do a little bit of work, and also give some closing cost opportunities for those buyers that may need a little help with their purchases as well, because you still have a lot of different programs out there that offer some grant funds for those that may need it. And some of those buyers were kind of kicked out when, you know, if they needed a little bit of help for their closing cost.
And so, what about on the seller side? Do you have a particular type of sellers that you work with better, or your niche market from sellers' perspective?
My niche for sellers is mostly those that are downsizing, actually.
Okay.
So I have a lot of repeat clients that are saying, okay, we got this big house. We're getting ready to be some empty nesters. Now it's time for us to downsize. And then I also work with some investors that do some fix and flips as well.
Okay.
And those are some great opportunities for you to be able to purchase a reasonable priced home as well that has been fully renovated. So that's going to help also with, you know, bringing that affordable housing back into the mix of things.
What's something that you tell your buyers that they need to make sure they look for when they're looking for a potential first home?
Several things. Number one, you want to check the location, the area. Because you can't just say, I don't like it and I want to get up and move. It's not an apartment. You can't turn in your lease. This is a 30-year mortgage. So even though you'll have the ability to sell it in a few years, you don't want to be upside down. This is an investment. So you want to make sure that you're making a wise decision. Also, do not just make it an emotional decision, because I know it's a lot of based off emotion. I fell in love with this kitchen, and I fell in love with this bathroom, and I really want it because it has the walk-in shower with the soaking tub that I want and all of these amenities, which is great. But you also want to make sure, checking the area, checking the school districts, checking to make sure that you really going to enjoy and see the longevity in this home. and making sure that it accommodates and fits your family's lifestyle and needs for whatever that may be for that particular family. So those are some of the conversations that we have.
And same question, but on the seller side. So your sellers that you're working with, especially those that are downsizing, they might have been in their home for a number of years.
Yeah.
What's one thing or a few things that you tell your sellers that might be downsizing that if they're going to make improvements on their home before they sell it, what are some things that you tell them to make sure they keep in mind?
One great thing to do is to get a home inspection prior to you putting it on the market, because you already are aware of any deficiencies, and we can take the time to address some of those deficiencies prior to that home going on the market. That helps alleviate some of that hard headache pain that you may feel going through that home inspection time when you're on pins and needles because you haven't gone in your attic in 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
You don't go under your crawl space and you don't know that there's some fungi that's growing under there. So that will help in the beginning, taking some of that sting off. Also going around tightening up, hey, let's check your faucets, make sure nothing is leaking. Let's check to make sure that there are no issues with the toilets when you're flushing, no water coming through. Making sure that everything is kind of touched up when it comes to painting. You have some curb appeal, because people, they're going to look on the internet before they even drive to your neighborhood to pull up. They're going to look online. So you want to make sure you're representing, or your home is going to have that best showing opportunity. So curb appeal is very important, because if it looks bland and they're like, this window is cracked and it doesn't look good, they're not going to want to come out. And you want to get them from off the computer
into the door,
into the car, and in that door.
Now, what I didn't hear was, do you need the stainless steel appliances and the granite countertops when you're selling the house, getting ready to sell the house?
Of course, everybody wants those upgrades, okay? Everybody wants those. But if it's somebody that's been in their home for a while, we can make some price adjustments, because you have some of the older ones that say, you know what, they were okay. You know, these appliances, they may not be the stainless steel, but they still work. So we can, a price adjust for those. But I'm not going to say, oh, you have to go out and put in brand new appliances, brand new granite, just because you're putting the home on the market. You want to make sure that it makes sense, and whatever improvements that you're doing, you're going to be able to recoup your cost.
Now, I recently talked to a member who said they were preparing to sell their house, and I didn't understand why they thought they wouldn't put it on the market for another year or year and a half, because they're downsizing, moving closer to the daughter, and but now it makes sense. It's getting those things in place before you put the for sale sign out front and doing that prep work. That now all makes sense. I don't know. Maybe you're their realtor. I don't know.
But then also the other thing is, people that are downsizing, a lot of them have a lot of stuff, and they're emotionally attached to that stuff.
Girl.
Yes. So they have to determine what family heirloom they want to hold on to what they want to go ahead and get rid of. So my recommendation when I talk to clients in that situation, hey, let's have 3 different buckets. You're going to have your save or keep bucket. Let's have a donate bucket, and a bucket that we're going to have for trash. Something that you know is just not any good, so outdated, not vintage, but truly outdated. Let's go ahead and put that in the trash. Some things that are still decent that, we can go ahead and give and donate. Let's go ahead and put those things there. And what you really want to keep, what you really have that emotional attachment to, that's what we want to save. Okay. That's going to help you, because you don't want to go from one downsizing situation and then you're feeling like you're cluttered in your new place because it's smaller and you can't house everything because you can't take it all with you.
Okay, so my mother-in-law, rest her soul, she's passed away, but here was her trick. She had a storage unit. She also was a Southern living fanatic, and she would flip her house around pretty seasonally, but she kept the stuff in her storage unit.
Yes.
So it kept her house decluttered,
yes,
and it always looked like a magazine cover. But then she had a storage unit of stuff.
Right, of stuff. And then you have to go and decide what to do with all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So if you can, and that was very smart, because at least it's not in the home.
It wasn't in the home.
But think about those that have those attached garages. And I've had some that can't even park a car in them because they're full of just stuff.
Yes.
So we have to, make sure we are not accumulating too much. Well, it's on the verge of hoarding, but it's stuff that we're actually going to use. And my rule of thumb is 12 months. If you have not used it in 12 months, you really have to assess, do you really need it?
So for those of you that've got garages, we know who you are. We see them driving through the neighborhood. You know, listen to Tamara. She's telling you, if you haven't touched if you can't park your car in it.
Yes.
I was one of those. I can get a car in it now.
Good.
If you can't, make sure you assess and get those 3 buckets. Like take a couple months and start every weekend, do a 3 bucket, separate your stuff, clean it out, get your house ready.
Exactly. Have a yard sale.
Have a yard sale.
Take a couple
I need a
Saturdays
class on how to do yard sales.
and get it done.
Well,
Bargain shopping.
Well, Tamara, thank you so much. This
Thank
has been
you.
eye-opening. I hope our viewers and listeners and watchers have taken a few little tips on either, you know, preparing to buy their first home, what they need to think about, or preparing to sell their home or to downsize and go into their next home. And if you have questions, how can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook, on any social media, Facebook, Instagram, or you can email me. But my hashtag is at CRG Richmond, which stands for Community Real Estate Group Richmond. So again, at CRG Richmond, and you can email me, Tamara at CRG Richmond, or hit me on my cell phone. I answer it all the time. It's connected to me, 804-519-7676.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
we'll
you,
make sure to
Danielle.
tag Tamara in this post so you can go back and refer her to your friends.
Thank you.